Hello, today is June 12th, and this will be my last vlog before I submit my placement portfolio. Um, I've completed my portfolio apart from my reference, but that should be done by the end of this week. So I thought in this one I'd just kind of wrap everything up, kind of give a last few thoughts and go through my objectives and my portfolio, and yeah. So I thought so the first part of my portfolio was my was my reflective analysis, 2,000 words of me just kind of reflecting on my placement and talking about the challenges I faced, my journey, and my objectives. And I think in the past I've said that I don't particularly like writing reflectively, but actually I found that I I could have done, if I could have done with more words, to be honest. I would have liked to have written more essentially, but yeah. So I guess some of the important stuff in this is talking about the challenges I faced, from the very start of finding my placement, as well as during the placement. But I talk about them in relation to my objectives, but also what I'm learning from the challenges I faced. So I'll talk about the objectives and how I see I've achieved all of them, and I've talked about how I've achieved them before, but I'll go through them again, and especially because I think my view on them has changed over the year. So objective one was for me to successfully network to create new contacts for the future work that will enable career opportunities, employment references, and personal/professional development opportunities. So in my reflective placement, I talk about how I've achieved these through connecting with various people across the city, from all kinds of professions on different projects I've worked on. Some of the projects have been more successful than others. But yeah, I feel like I've built up good relationships with these people as well. Always, being able to, especially, it's particularly good going to meetings and communicating with these different people, and for them to kind of think of you when they're doing their kinds of projects and that. So yeah, that's objective one, and that's complete. Objective two: gain practical skills and knowledge in working within the third sector to create a professional working relationship with the local government, local authority, and understand the boundaries of non-political lobbying. So yeah, I've definitely achieved this. And I think I achieved this quite early on. It's just essentially, understanding where you stand, not just in the charity you're working in, but what powers you have to change things. I think that's kind of the most important part of that. But also understanding the processes, understanding the right people to go to, and understanding kind of what's going to be most effective in certain parts of wanting to take action. Objective 3: become proficient in basic hard skills for the workplace. For example, Outlook, Microsoft Teams, Excel, emails, and so on. Again, complete this fairly quickly. All very simple to learn. I think I probably underestimated my ability in achieving this. But yeah, all very simple stuff really. Um, Objective 4, build confidence in both myself and my abilities to effectively work with others and make decisions regardless of any difficult circumstances. Yeah, this was one that I kind of wanted. I wanted to kind of wait until I finished to say I'd properly complete this, because this is one that's gonna, for me, that's a continuing process of building my confidence in working with others. And I think it's not just within my placement that I've been building this, but through all my stuff I do at university as well, with societies and that. But I've definitely achieved this, especially when I'm kind of um, working with, communicating with so many different people. Especially leading different things as well, as something I particularly talk about in my portfolio. And objective 5, strive to, by the end of my placement, have left a mark, impact on an organisation that is best interest of its users. This was important for me, not kind of a selfish one, but kind of wanting to give something and not just kind of be a kind of not be a I want to be useful essentially, which I think is really important. I didn't want them to be wasting resources on me, I guess, when they as a small charity, when they could be doing other stuff. But I believe I have. I believe I've left a mark in a number of ways, really helped them. And what I specifically talk about here is I go on to talk about, and this objective is a goal that I myself made up for within my placement, which was to host 2 events and bring new members into Dynamite and so on. And I achieved this, maybe not so much. Oh, well, okay. So I didn't achieve this necessarily to the numbers I give here, but I believe within the due down to the circumstances I've had, if we were in normal circumstances, I may have had the opportunity to be able to do so. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with that, and I think it was really important to set that goal. Because it kind of gave me stuff to work towards as well. Now, yeah, so that was really good, and what I go on to talk about towards the end of my portfolio is kind of advice I'd give to future students taking on placement or even going into the graduate world. And I'll go on here. Find it. And it's essentially to be setting these goals, to set the objective, like the objectives I've set here, and I think they could be long term, they can be short term, but I think it's really important to set these goals. They give you something to work towards and give you a bit more purpose in what you're doing. And it's something I've already kind of set myself, and that is to get elected as one of the elected officers at the Students' Union in the next year. And so that's one of my goals, personal goal for me, or at least kind of work towards that. So yeah, I kind of really found it useful to be setting those kinds of goals. So I've essentially I think it's I think many people will find some form, whether it be long term, short term, whether it be a personal goal or a professional goal. I think these are always really useful. Second piece of advice I give is hang on. I would also say that the development of confidence that I've already described in sharing thoughts, ideas, and opinions is absolutely crucial, not only for the personal development, but also placing yourself in the type of work environment you want those values and your voice to be your position. And so essentially, I say in this, is that if you're in a workplace where you're able to share your thoughts, you're able to put your own views on things, and they're kind of accepted and welcomed, then you're in the right kind of workplace, where that you're able to do that. Because yeah, I think those kinds of workplaces will be for you if they're willing to accept your own, everyone's ideas, no matter what level you're at. Whether you be a manager or a receptionist, everyone's views are taken into account, and I think that's so important. So yeah, those are the two bits of advice I kind of give. So set goals and find a workplace that accepts your views and ideas. So then I have in my portfolio a link to my placement diary on YouTube. I think that's about 6.5 hours of content on there. So that's mad if you got through that. LinkedIn profile, that was quite fun to put together, to be honest. Kind of because the way it kind of, especially the way it kind of the way it kind of pieces together in the end product is you have this long list of all the different places you worked in, and your kind of the media you put with it, and your kind of responsibilities with that, and you're kind of able to talk more about that role. And essentially, I feel like the LinkedIn is really good to just kind of show yourself off, and I hope to really be using it, later on through my career. But yeah. So that was, again, that was quite fun to put together, and not too much work either. Now my CV, that was also quite fun to, it's not the most fun kinds of documents, but it was also it again was quite fun to piece together and then have this end document that looks, what I think looks very professional. And I had some support from the employability service at the university to put this together, and they really helped me kind of make it look a lot more professional, kind of proper refine it, make it look all really nice, and I think it's all kind of perfect now, I think. And of course this is a very general CV, and I'll be in the future, whatever job comes up, I'll be tailoring it, that I'll be tailoring my CV to the different jobs that come up in the future. But I think what the base I have right now, the kind of foundations I have right now is really good to kind of start with, and I think already that shows so much. So whatever I can tailor with in the future will be amazing. And yeah, I mean that's kind of my portfolio. Again, I said my reference is coming in next week, but I'm really excited to get all this submitted, and I have to say I won't be necessarily finishing my placement um, at the end of next week. I'll be finishing it in about a month or so time in July. Um, but yeah, and I think that's important for me to I don't believe in I never wanted to kind of um, abandon all this after the 35 weeks I'm meant to be. I should be working. I wanted to kind of see it through and kind of do as much as I can in the year. And it's a really good opportunity for me in general to kind of be a part of something growing essentially. um, and yeah, it's really that kind of commitment is so important. And if anything, that's another bit of advice I'd give is that a commitment to what you do is so important, whatever it is, whether it be a job or a voluntary role. Is always put that commitment in, always go to the social events, always go to the little bits that you can connect with people, or to show that commitment to your role is so important to everything. And yeah, it just kind of looks, in general, it kind of looks great, doesn't it? um but yeah, no, it's really been a great year. What I've done at Dynamite, I think it's changed me as well, um in my kind of outlook on disability, and how I want to proceed myself in the future. I want to be, I don't know exactly, I still don't know exactly what. I've got a few ideas, as I've said, but going on next 10 years, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do, in 10 years time. But I know I want to be in roles that are helping others, in making people's lives better, making society better, changing policy, whatever it is, whatever country it is in, whatever level. That's what I want to be doing. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of everything from me. Um, as I said, I'll still be kind of working hard next month, um, enjoying it as always. I don't think there's been a moment of this year where I haven't enjoyed my role, which you know, I think it really shows the type of work I want to be doing in the future. So, yeah, that's great. And yeah, I'll finish it there. Have a good one.